We are live. It's another edition of Meat Pop Live. Welcome everyone to the show. Just got done watching Dynamite, and by getting done, I mean I did not finish a damn thing because I don't know. You just know what's gonna happen. Yet again, for another week, you just know what's gonna happen at the end of the damn show. Let me put the link out here. Let me put the link in the comments section for you guys. There's the link if you want to join. Talk to Nicky. Let me put a little tweet out here for you. I put a little tweet out there for you. Let's give the old YouTube link to the people. There I am. Hear myself talk. All right. What's going on tonight? We got a lot of pro wrestling, man. A lot of pro wrestling going on. So, got a little bone to pick with the wrestling community. Before we get things kicked off, talking about the show, talking about everything going on in Dynamite and Raw, all that. I put a tweet up the other day about Shawn Michaels. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was about Shawn Michaels, about the way that he sells. It was from a Raw back in the day, and it had essentially Shawn taking what was going to be like an attitude adjustment, and he worked himself into the corner, took a bump off the turnbuckle, came out, super kicked, and fell into the pin. Now, I said that this is one of the best clips I've ever seen. This is the personification of what HBK can do, why he's so damn realistic. And I got eaten up. I mean, a lot of people liked it. You know, I had over like 300 or something likes. Clearly, a lot of people liked the clip. But I don't know, man. People were saying that Shawn is an overseller. Now, I know he is, but that wasn't the point of what I was trying to say, you idiots. What I was saying is that if you need someone to make something look realistic in a wrestling ring, there is no one better than Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is the best. Maybe Brett is up there too. But other than that, I don't know anyone that's better than him. Like, if he wants to, he can do it. That's the point. He's not always going to do that. He's not always just going to sit there and, just make it look so damn realistic. What I'm saying is, though, is that the fucking guy, if he wants to make it look as realistic as possible in the context of pro wrestling, that was another thing. Everyone's like, oh, it's fake. How could it look realistic if it's fake? Like, no, dummy. It's in the context of pro wrestling. Obviously, everything they're doing in the ring is not real, right? Like, these fucking people are not actually like spearing each other. That doesn't happen. Like, you don't go to a bar fight and see people doing shooting star presses, but you do it in a professional wrestling ring. You got to make it look as realistic as possible. And that comes with selling. So that's what I was talking about for you morons. And then you have people with their fucking avatars of like Pikachu. It's like either Pikachu or their cat. And they're telling me that I'm a loser and that my opinion doesn't matter. No, your opinion doesn't matter. That's why your avatar is Pikachu, because you're too scared to have an opinion of your own and show your damn disgusting face online. So that's that. I can go on for hours as to why, like, I'm 100% right in that situation regarding Shawn Michaels and whether or not he's a great seller. He oversells because he chooses to oversell. You fucking idiots. All right, so AEW Dynamite happened. I mean, listen, we're in Forbidden Door season. All right, we're in Forbidden Door season. Peter, I see you. You're in the studio. I'm going to bring you in a second, brother. Looking good with the shades on. Peter's got a lot planned for you guys. He's looking good right now. But here's the deal. Let's cool it with the yellow hate. What the hell was that about? What yellow hate? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Anyway, I probably missed a joke there. But so AEW, man, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, this is an okay show. They opened with Swerve, a little bit of it, he's got he's doing a promo. They get him some more mic time. That's great and all, but then the EVPs come out, blah, blah, blah. Listen, oh yeah, Pikachu. There's just not enough heat going on there, man. Like, Swerve's got to, I don't know, Swerve, I feel like he's just holding back just a little bit as a baby face. I think he's more suited to be a heel. I think that's pretty apparent. But listen, he's the world champ and he's a baby face. So they opened with that. Okada said, bitch, that was great. And yeah, I know there's a guy, he's waiting in the studio now, my man Peter. I'm going to bring him in right now because, he likes the vulgarity online. We're gonna keep it to a minimum today, though, because we got, there's probably tons of my fans watching right now, and I don't want to set a bad precedent. So, Peter, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Oh yeah, Nick, what's up, brother?
There he is yet again. What's up, man? 2 weeks in a row. I like your shades, dude. I like your shades. Did you purchase those just so you can come in? Oh, we got Sarah in the studio.
Nice.
Yes, we got Sarah in the studio too. Sarah, I will get to you, sure. But Pete, tell me about what's going on. What's in your head, man? What's going on right now?
Well, you were talking about Swerve, and I just don't feel like this guy's like the guy yet. He's got a little bit to go, clearly. I still remember him from when he was over there in NXT. I know he's making, big moves over here, and good for him. He looks good. He's okay on the mic. He could definitely wrestle. Big looking guy. Whatever. Now my question to you is, in regards to MJF, what do you think his next move is? Like, who's he coming for? Whose throat?
I mean, it's clear that obviously he's going to have this thing with Rush or Rush, whatever the hell his name is. And, that's just kind of just get the old training wheels off, because, he's coming back. He's got to get that rust off. But rust is not, Rush is not the guy for MJF. He's going into a big, he's going to something big directly after this. You got to think it might be, maybe it's Ospreay. Maybe they just go for Ospreay. Maybe they go for Christian. He's still a babyface, so it's got to be a heel. I don't know, but it's got to be someone top of the notch. It's got to be someone top of the mountain. That's who are you going with?
Ospreay would be good. You could tell, obviously he's been either on hydroxycut or whatever he's on, but he looks good. MJF, he trimmed some serious weight. I mean, he's in
You think he's on Ozempic? You think he's doing Ozempic?
Man, maybe Ozempic, maybe a little.
Maybe he's doing that, yo.
He got his hair done. He looks good. Hey, good for him, man. I mean,
he does, and he had his tan was better. I think the spray tan from last week finally settled. That guy, he could improve that. He's pretty flawless on the mic, but when it comes to the spray tan, for some reason he just doesn't get it. He just, I don't know, just looks ridiculous.
And he's from Long Island, right?
Yeah, he's from LI.
You would think, that's like the kingdom of spray tans over there.
I mean, I guess so. I think this kingdom of spray tan is probably Jersey, where I'm living right now.
Oh, that's right, Jersey. Yeah. Well, yeah, all right. Okay, I'll give you that. Definitely.
I don't know, man. I think MJF. That's a good question. I think MJF obviously is going to go into a big feud, whatever, after this. I don't know where he's going to land, but he's going to land someplace big, and he has to, because he needs to be at the top of the card immediately. You can't you can't fuck around with this. He has to go directly to the top. He's probably going to be with the top heel, whoever that is, and so on and so forth. But you got anything else before I move on to Sarah? I want to get the ladies in here. The first ever female to be on the live show of the Meat Pop Express. She's so excited in the studio right now. I could see her. You got anything else for me, Pete?
Dude, one more thing. I just wanted to bring this up once, is that whole twerking contest on NXT. What do you think of that? I'm whose idea do you think that was?
I mean, I think they just had Sexy Red that was like, hey, we could tap into a different audience. Yeah, let's just throw her on. What does she do? Oh, she twerks. Who else has a big ass? It's the other one. So let's throw them both together. They can shake their ass a little bit. Do the old twerk ski, get some ratings in here. But listen, I just think they get a little bit more edgy. I think that's what it comes down to. Is they're trying to cross into the mainstream. They're trying to find new eyeballs. So that's what that's about.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fine. It's not that crazy. It's just that we've been so PG'd for the past 20 years. And anything you see is like, oh my God. And we'll get into the whole Liv Morgan thing later in the show as well, because that's another thing with the marks. It's just crazy. But I'm going to let you go here, Pete. What's up?
Wait till it's on Netflix, right?
Oh, yeah. No holds barred, brother. All right. I'm going to let Sarah in right now. Have a good one, brother.
Hey.
There she is.
What's
How
up,
you
Nicky?
doing? What's going on?
How are you doing?
I'm great. How'd you enjoy the show?
It was something,
I have a question. Is that Vesusia girl? Is she in the CMML?
Yes.
She is. Wow.
Yes. And I really don't know how I became the de facto CMLL defender.
It's because you're the only one. It's because you're the only one. They
I
stink.
just like it all. I let wrestling happen to me. I'm here to see a product. I'm here to be entertained, and people in cool masks with big muscles come on my screen, and I'm like, oh, neat. That's fun. Like, look at that lady. She's got cool gear. Fine, great. Sign me up. And also, I'm a known Monet hater, so watching her get thrown around tonight was pretty cool. Even though we knew, obviously, she's gonna win, right? Like, fine,
That's
whatever.
that's the thing.
Boring.
It's like I'm watching these Dynamites, man, and I basically know who's winning every match because all
Mhm.
these people are in massive programs. I mean, we got we got this like Osprey's not losing to this fucking guy. I don't even know. Did it end yet? Is it still on?
Osprey did win, yes.
Oh, get that go. Oh my God. Like that's
Spoilers.
my thing. It's like that's my thing is like, why am I watching this? I can't just watch for the match. There's no more storyline if it's
Mhm.
the end of the show and Osprey is facing a guy that has a no chance of winning. He has a no chance. There is a 0.00% chance. Who was it? It
Yeah.
was Phoenix?
Phoenix,
Phoenix, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Who I
Phoenix.
love, but
Yeah,
is
he's
very
great.
talented, but I don't know. I it makes me sad because this guy is super talented and they just kind of like treat him like a jobber. Speaking of jobbers, Nick Camarado as a jobber, I was like, oh damn, dude, how the
Who's
mighty have
that?
fallen. Yeah, that big giant guy. That well, he was started in the oh sorry, we got cats fighting. We who's Danny Garcia beat. I was just like, wait, I didn't recognize him without the beard.
Wait, Danny Garcia wrestled tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have been upstairs. My daughter, she's 5, so
Hmm.
I always grab her and let her go, pee before one more time
Yeah.
because she's no more, for all you parents in the comments, probably a ton of you, but there's no more you don't do pull-ups at that age. So it's like
Right.
just to make sure that I'm not dealing with a wet bed,
Right. See,
I
these are
go
things I'm
grab
gonna
her.
have to know. So this is
Exactly.
good.
So I
Thank
was
you.
doing that. So I basically deadlift her
Okay,
out of
good.
her bed, and she's like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just pees real quick. I throw her, and that's probably when the Danny Garcia
Probably. Yeah, I mean it was a squash, so
37 star classic was going on as he thrusted his pelvic into, I'm sure, into
did he
someone's
did
face.
he did something.
Incredible. So what?
Yeah.
How'd you become a wrestling fan?
So 2020 happened, and nothing else was
It
going
did.
on. And a gal in my book club was like, hey, you like drag and you like, silly things. You should try wrestling. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, no, I'll walk through AEW with you. Like, try this thing. It's new. You don't have to, like, there's not much storyline going on yet. You don't have to catch up. And I saw one Penta match and I was sold. It was Penta versus Cody Rhodes. And I was like, who's this Aryan man with a neck tattoo? Why is this man insulting his baby? Sign me up. Sign me up for all of it.
That's what's up.
And
That's
yeah,
you
so I
never.
became that devoted. And I'd been watching Ben's matches on YouTube after this. And then he came to a local promotion in my neck of the woods, and I was like, "Oh my God, I've been watching this guy like on
Wait,
YouTube."
you just were because you saw Ben on AEW Dark,
Yeah,
and you were
and I
like,
was
"Who's that
like,
tall bastard?"
yeah, I was like, he's 7 feet tall and he's got this presence, this charisma. I'm like, I want to support like local dudes. So yeah, let's go. And then he came to Windy City Pro and I was like, oh my God. I was very excited. So yeah.
Now, and I appreciate you. I actually didn't know that whole backstory of how you became a fan of Ben Bishop, and then
Yeah.
through him became a fan of me, and now we're headlining
It's
the
true.
War on the Shore this
No.
in
It's very
July.
impressive.
Thank you, Dave Sturcio, for best decision of your life. I got a question for you as a female.
Okay.
This Liv Morgan thing that's
Mm-hmm.
going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see a lot of these people, to
Mm-hmm.
be polite, online. They say this is like a sexual harassment angle. I don't fucking know how this is a sexual
No.
harassment angle. Can you talk to the people right now from a female's perspective?
Sure. So this is just my personal opinion. I don't see it as a sexual harassment angle at
Because you have
all.
a brain. Because you have a brain.
Well, I do. I have multiple master's degrees, so yes. But no, I think that there's a difference between people who are on an equal peer footing, power structure within the company, and people who are maybe not, for example, an owner of a company and an employee, for example.
You took took a Vinny man.
Yeah, right. But Liv and Dom are on equal footing, and he's an adult, she's an adult.
Yeah.
There's not a huge age difference. How Dom, what I think people are recognizing that perhaps Dom is uncomfortable and responding to that as sexual harassment. I don't agree. I think it's a character. I think he's less uncomfortable with the fact that Liv is doing this and more uncomfortable with the fact that Ria's probably watching.
Right. And that's what it is, because what these dumb idiots don't realize is that what you're seeing is typically like just them at work. If you were a
Right.
regular human being and that was actually going on at your work,
Right.
meaning you have a significant other,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then someone else is coming on to you. That's not illegal.
No.
It's just scandalous. So
Yes.
what we're seeing is scandalous. It's not sexual harassment.
Mm-hmm.
It's right, exactly. Our fellow friend Dirtbag here, big fan of the show, Dirtbag over here, said this isn't an HR issue. It's certainly not. Not on my
No.
show, damn it. Not on my show.
Right.
Where the hell's Ben, by the way? Don't know where Ben is. But on my show, it's not. And I just had to get the female perspective, because sometimes when you're a dude and you're on the old Twitter webs,
oh, being a woman on Twitter
throws that term out, it gets
is
a
very
little
scary.
bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to imagine, because these people, they just say anything. And then, like I was saying, is that like they got these avatars and stuff, and like you don't know who's white knighting, you don't know who has a history of it, maybe they experienced some of it. But to say that, like, I don't understand what this new age thing is talking about sexual harassment. Like, what is she doing? Like, big deal. Like, she landed on, like, they were doing the same thing with like I mean, like Lana was just like Ziggler was making out with every female on the roster for years. You had Liv Morgan and Lana in a relationship where Liv was trying to steal Lana from her then real husband, Rusev. It just doesn't, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with these wrestling fans.
There's people, I think it's a good step where people are recognizing that other people are feeling uncomfortable, right? So that's good. But we can't jump the shark and label things that have legal consequences.
Right,
Like calling it sexual harassment implies there are like legal and work consequences versus Liv being kind of a creep. Which is unfortunately, like, if creeps were illegal, Twitter wouldn't exist. So
right.
And I think it's also a TV show.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's a fucking TV show.
Gets lost,
I don't
right?
know what people's problems are. It's an actual TV show. Like, just enjoy the fact that we're not getting the same boring shit every single week over and over again. Are you going to be watching Clash at the Castle?
I don't know. I hope so. I've got like some family stuff going on, so maybe. But I want only good things for Drew for his entire life.
So you want him to win?
I want him to win so bad. I want him to win everything. He can come into AEW, take their titles, and leave. I don't care. I think he's so entertaining. He's so talented. 30 seconds is all he needs, and it's like the only thing anyone's talking about for like 2 days. Brilliant, love him. I also known CM Punk hater, hate him, and not like him as a character, like him as a person. I just dislike him.
Yeah, he's I met him once, and he wasn't too. I mean, I don't know whether he was working me or not, but basically we had just interviewed him, and I just went to All Out, which he wasn't there, but I was at All Out. And I just said to him, I was like, yeah, I was at All Out. It was one of the better shows, it was one of the best shows I've seen. And he just said, he just looked at me and goes, really? And I was like, yeah, really, man.
Okay.
Like,
cool.
Sure.
Good talk.
That's cool, man. It's all good. But then again, it's like, I don't know whether or not he's like, you never know. Like, that's kind of the beauty of him too, is that you really just don't know. He's also so like fair weather. Like, sometimes he's like, you got to do things the right way. And then other side, he's just like, I'm just going to be a massive hypocrite.
Right.
So You really never know what you're gonna get. Let's see.
True.
Richie Homie Homer said used to hate Drew, loving that. I never hated Drew McIntyre. I just knew, I was like, this motherfucker who looks like this, who is carved out of stone.
Mm-hmm.
Something just didn't click for legitimately like 15 years. Like he would always be that level where like, okay, he could win the world title, but am I really interested?
Mm.
And what's crazy is like all these guys in their late 30s now are starting to actually find their like prime. Like Cody's prime is now, and he's in his late 30s.
Killing
Like
it.
it's almost like it's almost like in wrestling terms now, like unless you're an MJF, unless you're one of those guys that are just like a Braun Breaker or someone that has the ability to be super young, like Orton, like Orton was back in the day. A lot of these guys don't find their true groove until they've been doing it for 20 years. And maybe that's like even Roman sucked until what? Like the bloodline stuff. So Roman's my age. We're the same age,
Well, I mean, it's like any job, right? Like, can you name another career where you're like a hot shot in your 20s? Like,
no,
I don't know.
like
Not
not
really.
regular people, like not regular,
Right.
like regular people. Like if you could be like a 20-year-old, like MJF would be the equivalent to like a 24-year-old guy who's like a day trader who
Right.
just goes big and makes a shit ton of money, or like one of those unicorn entrepreneurs that create a company that just goes bonkers in their 20s. But the majority of people are not doing that. The majority of people aren't making their money until their late 30s.
Right.
You know?
Or if, you're a librarian, then you never do.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like your full-time gig? You're like a full-time librarian?
Yeah, I'm a librarian and then I teach on the side. I'm an adjunct professor at a local college. So
it's like, is it really quiet all day, or is that like a gimmick?
That's a gimmick, yeah. It's very loud, depending on where in the library you are. So
How'd you land that gig?
we'll have a full library chat. I don't want to take up like all your time.
I think this is what the people come to see. I mean, if anybody else, Richie, you want to come in? You want to come into the studio? I put the link in the chat, brother. But Sarah, so when was the last? Well, that's the wrong one. I'll put the right one in here. That's the right one. What was the last show you were at?
The last show I was at was Windy City Pro Wrestling in December of last year.
Oh, so that's the one. Ben's always at that one.
Yes. Yep. I don't think he was. Yeah, that was the one he. Unfortunately, did not retain that title.
That's unfortunate.
I know. Yeah, they're a cool local promotion. They're kind of family friendly. They're like Ben likes to kind of like rag on them. It's like we're at the Sycamore Rec Center out in the middle of like bum crap nowhere, Illinois.
That's the mecca of professional wrestling.
No, it's just fun. But yeah, I think that was my last live one. Last AEW was All Out 20. No, maybe it was Forbidden Door. Last Forbidden Door in Chicago.
I actually got to miss Forbidden Door this year because I'll be traveling. Because I'll be in California, but I was gonna go to Forbidden Door, sit row 1 because I'm rich. But be careful what you put on that computer. We can see a lot with them mirror glasses. Okay, Bren. So I do this show every week, and don't you worry about it, brother. Anyway, Sarah, I'm going to let you go here.
All
see
right.
if any of these other marks want to come in and talk to old NTG. But thank you for joining.
Good.
Feel free to stop by anytime. Maybe I'll get the big fella in here one week so I'm going to fucking talk to myself. All right.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. All right. So what else is going on in the world of professional wrestling? If anybody else wants to join and talk to old Nicky, there you go. No, dirtbag. It's like a real thing. That's actually not like that's not a joke. I'll sit row 1 if I want to sit row 1. That's just the way it is, brother. What else went on here? You know what else is crazy? You get me on here sometime on a weekend. So Roman, you got to come in on the weekend. Is that what you're telling me? Because you're at work, right? I think Roman's at work right now because he was at work last week. You know what else is interesting? This whole Ricochet thing. I don't think he's leaving. What do you guys think? You think Ricochet is leaving? I don't think Ricochet is leaving. I think he's staying. I just don't know why. If he goes to AEW, it's just there's too many guys just like that. And while he might be the top of the heap, look what they're doing with Pac. It's the same guy, right? Pac can do all that shit. You know? They got guys that can do that already. They have Osprey who can cut a promo and do everything that Ricochet can do. Maybe, well, maybe not everything, but like, he who's better. Listen, and I don't know if you guys are a fan of Busted Open, but I was listening to Busted Open or just a clip, and Bully Ray laid out the fact that Braun Breaker needs to come out and almost taunt Samantha Irvin because it's well known who are the couples now, obviously, in pro wrestling. I think there's a lot there where you can write off Ricochet for some time. They can speculate in the dirt sheets all they want as to where he's going, even though he probably, will sign at some point. And bring him back as like a really hot baby face, a true underdog that's fighting for something. That's what needs to happen. Because Ricochet, man, it does suck because he's not great on the mic, but he's getting better. And now he's got the wrinkle of Samantha ringside as this killer Braun Breaker who's going to go over in any situation, with Ricochet. But maybe Ricochet can get a win off him somehow. But listen, I like it. I think that there's a lot for Ricochet to do in WWE. I also just think he's just meant to be in WWE. He looks like a WWE superstar. And do I think he's going to be world champion? No. But I think he could put in some interesting television. There's tons of guys that were written off. But now, you got to give it time. Listen, if you got a chance to have Triple H be the guy in charge of creative and you're that talented, you got to stay in WWE if you can. They're just so hot right now. Like you're cutting your legs out from underneath you if you choose to go someplace else because they just don't have the AEW just doesn't have the foundation. We could say that TNA just doesn't have the allure or they have distribution, but it's not like WWE. It doesn't hold the same weight. So I think Ricochet. If I'm Ricochet, I either go to WWE, resign, which he should. His future wife's there. Or you just go on the indies and you just dominate. You become the guy. Do what a Cardona is doing. That's what I would do if I was Ricochet. What else is going on? Chad Gable, unbelievable. That's another one of the most, hottest storylines that are going on right now. And this is kind of the thing. I come on here on a Wednesday. It's after Dynamite. You think we'd be talking about Dynamite? It just goes to show how much stronger these, the current storylines are on WWE programming right now. What if he goes in the TNA partnership? I'm okay with that. If the partnership becomes like a real thing, and it looks to be, but let's get a little bit more official here. Let's make it so that it's a big deal when it happens. If he just goes to TNA, shows up every once in a while, he's just going to get, whatever. Like, who cares? But if there's a distinct, connection between TNA and WWE, like how Jordan Grace is being presented right now, I think it works. I think it could work. But yeah, man, these storylines, man, it's just like Dynamite was a fine show, but it was like just a show. I just felt that I was just watching a show because it was on television. But WWE just brings you in. Like you feel like you're watching an appointment television. Like you don't want to miss what's going on. You just don't. That's just kind of the vibes of it. I mean, when Chad Gable, when a Chad Gable segment's coming on, you're staying, man. You're staying. You don't know when the thing would happen with the, you don't know when the ball is going to drop with Otis. You don't know what's going to happen, but it's so good, man. WWE's like the Bloodline story. What's funny is like the Bloodline story will always be de facto one, but the reality is like it's not even the most interesting thing on television right now. If I'm being honest, like I would prefer the Liv and Dom and Chad Gable stuff over the Bloodline stuff right now. And that's not a shot at Solo. I mean, Solo's a young kid. He's not Roman Reigns. That's the thing. Other things like all these people are ripping on fucking, Bloodline 2.0. But like, listen, you're being compared to the greatest reign in the history of the modern era. And The Rock was with him. Like, that's not fair. You can't be doing that. I think the Solo and the Bloodline, they're building themselves up because there's eventually, hopefully, going to be that civil war or whatever. And when that civil war hits, it's going to be some interesting stuff, man. I'm really excited. I'm excited for everything. I think everything's going to be great. And I'm really excited for Clash. I love the fact that it's a 5-card pay-per-view. Enough of that bullshit. We don't need any no more marathon fucking pay-per-views anymore. Anybody got any questions in the chat? No one wants to come to the studio, that's fine. But any questions? We got any questions in the chat? Any questions in the chat? Let's see what else we got here. There was a challenge for Blood and Guts. Okada said the bitch thing. You see what I'm saying, man? Okada says that bitch thing. Boom. He's immediately more over than he ever was. Didn't even ever even like. Does anyone even remember an Okada match in AEW right now? No, but I remember him saying bitch. Dirtbag, correct. I'd get rid of the trios titles completely. Get him the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody want that shit. It's just more titles. It's just more titles, and there's not enough trios teams to make it worth a damn. It's like you just have to create a new trios team every 3 months. There's got to be new trios people created. Let's see. And then what other cool things? Piper Niven, hell of a promo on Raw, right? I think it was Raw, right? Hell of a promo. Like, great. Like, this is the thing, man. Like, under Vince, man, you never fucking seen her with a fucking microphone in her hand. And look at that. You give her the mic, and she was better than Bayley. She's better than Bayley. Better delivery. Chelsea in the background, adding to the whole presentation. That's great. I'm looking forward to that match. Piper's not going to win, but come on. Celtics, Mavs. I mean, it doesn't even fucking matter. The Celtics going to win the fucking series. I'd root for the Mavs. I'd like the Mavs to win just because, Boston's had enough, but whatever. Celtics going to win that series. I mean, they're up 11 right now. I'm like 30 seconds behind on my feed, but like, I think that's over. I think it's over. They're just too good. And then I close it out with talking about Cody and AJ. Listen, it's tough, man, because I think they're going to use this as a way to truly bring AJ back into the fold somehow. And I listened to Sam Roberts, and it had something to do with kind of the Bullet Club, and maybe, maybe they go after the Bloodline for a little bit. Maybe that happens. And then you have the old wrinkle of Uncle Howdy and his crew coming. A lot to talk about. A lot of interesting going on in the world of pro wrestling. I think that's really it for tonight, guys. I mean, I don't want to cut it short, but like, not a ton going on. I think we're going to have a lot more to talk about, though, once we get past Castle, because the big thing is the World Heavyweight title and what's going on, because it affects so much. Yo, what's up? It's that over on Twitter. Yeah, Sean, what's up, man? The chat's up in here on YouTube. I gotta figure out a way. The reason I do that, Sean, is because my biggest following is on Twitter, so I want to let people to know that I'm live. But the way you do the chat is you do it through YouTube. Oh, that's Richie Homer. Okay. Hey, Richie. So now I was just talking to 2 different people under the same name. So that's great. Wonderful. But yeah, there you go, Richie. That's good. There we go. I'll do it here now. What will you do here now? I don't know what that means. But yeah, I think once you get past Clash, we'll see a lot of different things, because if you look at that World Heavyweight title right now, that's where the money is in terms of like where are we going with a lot of different storylines, because from there you're going to have Drew branch off. Where does he go next? Is it with Punk? And then you have what happens with Damian Priest that infects the entire Judgment Day, right? So that's basically what the deal is. So that's basically going to be the huge implications of what happens. And guys, I think that's going to be it for this week. I'm probably going to call it, because I just don't think there's not a lot of meat on the bone this week. I also got to figure out a better format for this. I definitely want to keep going live, but I want to come to with a better format. If you guys have any thoughts as to what I should be doing, because everyone does a fucking recap. I don't want to do a recap. I might come with just a bunch of themes that we're going to talk about, and maybe post like a card ahead of time so everyone knows what we're going to talk about. I think that's what I'm going to go with, because I like just talking about being topical and running down things per se. Because I sure as fuck ain't doing this just to recap Dynamite, and that's just not going to happen. But guys, thanks for joining this week. I'll come back at it next week again, strong. We'll do it all over again. And I got to get this sumbitch formatted. Maybe I'll have the big man join me, so I'm not just talking to myself and looking to myself in my own reflection. So anyway, guys, we will have a new episode out on Friday. Make sure to follow the Bebop Express everywhere, and we appreciate you. Thank you for hanging with me for about 35 minutes on this Wednesday night. Later, Marks.